Well, everybody, welcome Susan Mcgraw. Hi, Susan Mcgraw.
Hello, Dak. My
Now you
love, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
Welcome.
doing
You're
great.
now on my YouTube channel.
Woohoo! I love your YouTube channel, so I'm
You
grateful
do?
that I get to be on there with you.
You do? Have you looked at videos on it?
Oh my gosh, Dak, I go to them almost daily when I can because they're so beneficial,
Oh,
and then I even forward them to people and say, hey, I share them, and I'm like, you need to watch this. This is so great. And our my dear friend Susan, who did the 90 days, I'm like, oh my god, this is like a refresher course,
yeah.
and it's amazing. So I'm absolutely. I actually talked to Christy today
You did?
uh, because I was the person for her to call, and I was just telling her how beneficial and that how open and that I could just see the win-win between both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear. I told her that today on today's call. That the feedback I keep hearing is that she's really open and vulnerable,
Right.
and really honest, and people are getting value from it. I didn't know you were watching them, and you're sending them to Susan Lofton and saying, "You write them, you watch them too."
Oh, and not just Susan. I watch sending to a lot of people, and then
You
I'm like,
do?
telling my girls, like, oh my gosh, you might just want to watch this. I just think that they're really valuable. I love them, and it
Oh,
just reminds me of, it's like a refresher course of the 90 days. And I told Christy today, I'm like, how valuable it is, and I know she's grateful. However, it's a win-win for both of you, but how awesome it is, and thank you guys both for sharing these and bringing them out to everyone to be able to see it, because
hmm.
I
Well,
know how valuable they are.
well, now you're on it too. So now you can send your own out and be like, "Here, watch this one. This one's the best one yet." Well, and so there's, so you guys who don't know Susan McGraw, she's magnificent. And my 90-day game, the personal development game, you have to be a pretty badass to play that game. And at the end of that game, well, so throughout that game, here's Susan McGraw. She's, over 30, mother of children, who will be 30 one day, not
Yeah,
necessarily soon. However, your
soon.
your ex-husband played the game with you as well,
Hmm.
which was intense because
At
it's
the
a
same, yeah, exactly, at the same time, and that just kind of happened, and I had to bless it and make it was okay, and know that that's what God and the universe thought was best, and
and
it was fine.
it worked out great. And then who this Susan McGraw is, like right now, I just said just before I pushed record, you look great. Did you just get your hair done? And you're like, no, I do my own hair. So you don't only do your own hair, you also cut your own hair.
uh, no, I don't cut my own hair.
Well, oh wait, you did because it was the pandemic. Is that why?
Oh, sometimes. Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I will cut it. I've been known to, I mean, I don't do it every time, but
Got it.
however, if I wake up and it's one of those days and it doesn't, then
Just
you
give it a
know,
little snip here and
I'll give it
there.
a little snip. I have been told by my daughters to leave my hair alone.
But I was a hairdresser, so let me just, for the hairdressers in the world, let me say that if you take a little scissor once in a while and do a little snipping, we
Mhm.
consider that you've cut your own hair.
Yes, right. And my hairdresser always knows when I've done it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we know for sure. So, but you said not only did I do my hair, I just came from the gym.
I did.
So, yeah, you'll do like hot yoga for every day for a month, or you'll be on a fast for 6 weeks, or you'll be preparing for a marathon. Like you do huge, gigantic things all the time.
Well, I was telling Christy today, which was one of my goals when we started this YouTube journey, that I'm on with you, that I haven't had any recreational sugar since this started, because that was one of the things. So even Easter, I'm not even going to be able to eat
Well,
chocolate
let's point
bunny.
that out. So, Susan is also on our YouTube team because everybody on this channel is very aware of our YouTube team. And what's your channel called? Is it just Susan McGraw
For now, yeah.
for now? So look up Susan McGraw, Mcgraw, and on our YouTube. So you're on the team with the YouTube people,
Hmm.
making a YouTube channel making YouTube videos. You're of the age like me that doesn't understand the technology that we have to master to do this. So it's
No.
maddeningly irritating often. So we need support more than most people and have to ask for it and feel stupid and look dumb. We feel.
Okay.
However, you're still on the YouTube channel and putting your videos up on YouTube.
Yes, I made a commitment that I was going to do this for the 90 days that it was. And, part of that was to get a video on there every Monday night. However, so I've been doing that. I mean, are they the best? Are they longest? Are they fancy? Blah, blah, blah. No. However, I made a commitment.
Yeah,
So I'm doing that. But can you hold 1 second? Because I have something valuable that I need to bring in here. So can you hold 1 second?
for sure.
Okay, talk to them. Talk to them while I'm gone.
I will. Okay, so the deal with Susan Mcgraw is that she's a complete and total badass and does really powerfully huge growth journeys with herself constantly, constantly growing. She's sweet, generous, kind, loving, wonderful friend and mother and sister and all of that. So she's amazing. And now, one thing let me point out to you is that when you play my game, which is harder than hell, is it not, Susan?
It is. And that's what I was bringing. That's what I stopped to get because do you know what this is?
Yes, I already do. And I was just telling them while you were gone, this woman, tell them what it is. Tell them how
Okay.
you did that.
So this is, you can see this end. This is one end and it's straight, straight, straight. And then it's bending into an arch. And here's the other end.
Yeah,
And this is a piece of rebar.
rebar.
Yes, that was straight when it started.
Yes. And tell them how it became bent.
Well, became bent on our 90-day challenge that I was so grateful that I was privileged enough to do that with Dak. And it was about pushing our buttons and personal growth. It was 90 days of personal growth. And there again, too, my commitment to myself was even if I got my buttons pushed, which I knew I would, because that's part of it. And that's why I was there,
Mhm.
that I wasn't going to quit. And so this on our last weekend, and we got our buttons pushed a lot. However, there was growth all along the way.
Yeah.
And the very last weekend, Dak, I kept thinking, oh my God, he's going to make us like walk over like shard glass or fire or something,
That's easy. Those are easy.
Right. That was easy compared to this. So Dak, I think of it all the time. And I took this 90 days 60 years ago. And part of that was to go out and do something that you've never done before. And I was like 60. And so what I did in that 4 hours when we had to go do something that I've never done before, I went and got my very first tattoo. Which my sister was like, "You're too old for a tattoo." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And it was a challenge, and I don't have one, so I did it. So that was another fun thing that I did during that. But this rebar, so the rebar is, and you could probably explain about it, but it really, I go back to this all the time because it is such an experience, and the really shows the power of mindset. So this rebar was a piece of straight rebar, which if you try to bend it, you can't bend it.
Mhm.
And Dak, we each had a buddy this whole 90 days that you learn to trust, and it's your go-to person, and you hold intentions for them, and they hold intentions for you. And this rebar actually was, so we got in our big circle, and then we had to put this rebar right there at our neck,
Yeah, that soft spot.
right there at
The
that
part
soft
that
spot that
hurts.
like hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, if you even touch it with your finger, it hurts.
No. And we put the end of this rebar, straight rebar, buddy to buddy, each end. And then Dak told
No
us
hands.
no hands. And
Uh-uh.
right, exactly, no hands. And Dak walked us through the breathing, the belief process. He told a story about the puma. Remember the puma?
Mhm.
And um, and really about holding intention and setting intention for yourself and your buddy and breathing. And then on the count of three, so the whole group, which we had, I think about 25, is there supporting you and chanting and, doing all this. And then you end up on the count of three, charging each other and then ending up in a bear hug. And then your rebar ends up like the arch. It was even to this day, I mean, it's my go-to. I go to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, the power of setting intentions and your mindset. This rebar is an example of that. We can do anything for me.
Well, I know it really is. And, we could also walk on fire. The reason I don't have you walk on fire is because then we have to clean up the mess and the firemen come. And, often places we've rented for these weekend experiences don't like when we set the parking lot on fire. So,
Kind
rebar,
of a no-no.
we also take there's another one we do. You've never done it, where we take an arrow, like a bow and arrow, and you put the point against that soft spot, and then your buddy holds a board and you walk into it with no hands until the arrow snaps.
Oh my, well, it's all amazing. I also actually have over in the kitchen the board that I karate with my
Yeah,
hand. This
yeah,
is all from Dak's 90 days
right.
because we were guided through it every step of the way. If I would have done, I wouldn't have been able to do this on day one. However, Dak is magnificent and he knows what he's doing. And through every step of the way, it keeps unfolding. So it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, you're a great commercial, Susan.
I know, but you know what, Dak? I'm saying that because really, I've done a lot of different things, and I did this later in life, and it was so. And I've done a lot of different things through the years. It was one of the most profound things I've ever done. So,
Well, let's go right there then. What was the greatest takeaway from about yourself? What did you discover about yourself that you are able, or attempt to at least, use continuously in your life today that makes it better, or makes it different, or makes it bigger?
well, I think it's what I learned is about the commitment and and being true to my word and commitment to myself, and that my pro if I have limiting thoughts, it's just me having those limiting thoughts, and that really, if you're willing to do the work and do daily and be accountable to yourself and to others.
Hmm.
So it's really about, I really just got to value myself and my worth, and to
Oh, right.
know, like I said, and this piece of rebar that I can do anything, you know.
Oh, okay. So I can do anything. So it's my value and my worth. Because all that first stuff was about do stuff. You're like, if I go committed, if I stay committed, and if I keep doing new things, and if I show up and I ask for support and I give support, and blah, blah, blah. Those are all the do.
Hmm.
But what did you discover about yourself? You said it, and then it was about my worth and my value. So what did you discover about your worth and your value?
I discovered that every morning, this was another really valuable piece, is to really, what's my beingness? And that was another thing that I do. I know, and
Huh?
my days are better when I consciously think, what's my beingness today?
Yeah,
And and that's what we learned in that 90 days is
that's
about
another one.
our
That's another one. Except for that's also a do as well. Like
a
what?
beingness is a do.
No, the way you're saying it's a do, because you're like, what I learned was to pay attention to my beingness, because my beingness drives my results in my day. That's a powerful tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see how that's a process? Because what I'm asking you is, what did you find out about you? Not what did you find out what to do? What did you find out? Because there's lots
Okay,
of
I'll tell you.
strategies.
Okay, here's what I know what I found out.
Okay, okay.
I found out these things back here,
Uh,
that I show up and that I am a leader and that I am strong and committed,
there we go.
hmm and valuable.
Ooh, there we are. There we are.
Yeah,
And one
yeah.
more. There's one more you said earlier without actually saying it as an I am. You
Hmm.
were valuable and
Valuable, strong, and committed. Perseverance.
yeah. Well, that's one of the greatest things about you is you are committed. You do hard stuff, even when most people would quit. You don't, But you're also a mom. It's also trained into you, right? Because isn't that the hardest thing you've ever done?
Well, yes, yeah. And I'll tell you, I also, by the grace of God, one day at a time, I'm 12 years sober, and I remember I have a way of putting myself on the hot seat because I remember calling um, this counselor and said, I think I need to talk to you. And I knew that if I said it out loud to this person that there was no going back. And so I was like, oh my God, I got to tell him. And it was with an enthusiastic sobriety program for young people that I was involved with. And and so I knew that this counselor there. So my point with that is it's kind of is that I called myself out because I knew I had to commit to that.
Mhm.
And I didn't allow myself any wiggle room.
Mhm.
Left out to my own devices, I
Yeah,
would have wiggled my way out of it. So I commit, and then I like having the accountability with people.
yeah. That's what's not normal about you at all. You know, that's it's not common that somebody is so committed and pushing and growing and especially when you're at your age, a mother taking living a great life with friends in a beautiful
Mhm.
city and just have a great life, but you're like pushing like I'm not gonna stop running until I cross the finish line, right?
Right. Yeah.
However, right back there, so you found that you're committed, and that will serve you hugely, right? And strong, serve you hugely in your life. But if you found just that you were committed and strong, then you could, and you didn't find that you were valuable and worthy,
Mhm.
right? And deserving. If you didn't
Right.
find those things and you just found committed and strong and you still questioned your value and your worth, then you would just be really good at torturing yourself, right? Because you would commit to really awful things that take strength to accomplish, and then you would just keep doing that.
Right. Right.
But do you see how if you never got that under support of discovering your value and your worth in a way that you could own it, it would just be terrible. It'd be better to not know you're so strong and committed so you wouldn't hurt yourself so often, right?
Well, you're right. No, very good point. No, I didn't think of it quite like that. However, yeah, it's things that I know that are going to um, better me, and so I'm willing to do the work because
Yeah.
it's for my personal growth, and I do, and I end up growing and growing, and that brings me pleasure.
Yeah. Well, yes, and hopefully brings you to that owning value and worth because that's the one thing you're driven to discover. Like that's the thing that you keep forgetting. You keep discovering it, finding it, using it, being it, sharing it, and then forgetting it. Right? That's the Susan McGraw theme in
Yeah,
your
right.
storyline. That's in your
Not
thing.
owning it. I don't. Yeah, you're right. I forget it, and then I like at one moment I'll own it, and then I forget about it.
And then you forget it. Yeah, because I think you go out to lunch with your girlfriends and you're like, oh, I'm like you. Like I'm just normal. It's
Yeah.
just normal to be like this. And I'm always like, it is not normal. You are incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go right to it because
Thank
when
you.
you play, you're welcome. When you it's not a compliment though. It's just an observation.
Okay.
Right? It's a fact. The when you play my game, at the end of the game, there are 4 awards that are given, and the team chooses the awards. And she had a big team, and the awards are team leader, most best team player, so
Hmm.
the best team player, and most inspirational,
Hmm.
and then the fourth one is most improved.
Yeah, Nancy got that one.
Right. And so those things behind Susan's head. Those are so the one in the center, that's best team leader. That's team leader. And then over here, the stars to her right on that side, that's most inspirational. And then on the other side, the one wrapped together, see that one there? That's best team player.
Oh,
So on the awards night at the big gala celebration for her graduation from my game, I got to give every one of those awards to Susan McGraw.
I was shocked. That's what I loved about it is that we didn't know that that was happening during these 90 days. So we didn't know there were
Not
any.
during it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
During the game, they don't know there are awards. And when the game is done, before graduation, the team gets sent out voting ballots and they vote for those awards. And so 3 out of the 4 that night goes to Susan, which is like, yay, total victory, right? Until what, a month or two later, when you call me and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I need motivation. I'm a mess. I'm lost. Like, what? And I don't know that that's exactly what you've said over the years, right? Because you've also come back and coached the game too.
I did
You- yeah, and you've also come and staffed the first class, the 3-day class that I
all the
teach.
time.
Yeah, always there. So constantly there, actively growing and working on yourself. Um, so you would think if you got all the awards, if you play the big hard game and you bend steel with the soft spot in your neck, you got all the awards. Like, what more is there to do? And then, Monday morning, you're back at it with a new goal. Even in this case, Susan, the 90-day situation with YouTube, hard as hell, irritating as fuck, terrifying, vulnerable as can be,
Yeah.
awful. I mean, it's just hard in every way. Most people would quit. And
Well,
yet,
remember I tried to. I called you and said, I'm just going to do little Facebook things. And you're like,
yeah, you said, I'll make the video, but not on YouTube. I just put it on Facebook, okay? And it just so happened that I was talking to Hunter, who called me while I've been talking to you. Hunter called. I was talking to Hunter when I got that message, and I said, what do you say to that? And he had coached you through being the coach when you played
Mhm.
the game as the coach. And he said, yeah, no, that was 2 years ago. That was her goal, to make videos and put on Facebook. She tried to get out of that too. So you just tell her, no, no, no. And I did, and you're like, okay. But when you call and say that stuff, what I see in my mind is the picture I'm looking at right now. And I'm always constantly telling you, Susan, take those awards and put them on a string and wear them around your neck. Just
You
wear them
did.
like jewelry, because for some reason you keep forgetting. So, but that's that valuable, worthy stuff, right? Those
Right.
those
Yeah.
those awards aren't about courage. They're not about strength. They're not about commitment.
I'm taking notes still.
Like you could say that best team player is about commitment to your team, commitment to being, unified. All of us go or none of us go. That's commitment to that. Most inspirational, that's being committed to being authentic, right? That strength of being your true self, showing up authentically. So those, you could say those are about commitment and strength, right? However, you don't, those could be what they're about, but you don't get them unless they're about worthy and valuable, right? Do you see that?
Love it.
So,
Yeah.
yep, those things reflect those other things, but you don't receive them and get voted for them because you just naturally show up when nobody knows there's an award going to be given and win 3 out of the 4, right? So those
I like it.
literally,
I like that. I like that. I like what you're saying.
well, it's just literally true. And yet you can understand its truth on the outside when we discuss it. And just like anybody else, you go back into your life and you just forget. Because your
Mhm.
story is not the same story. Your story isn't authentic to who you truly are. Your story is you're less than, or there's something off, or you're still working toward it. There's still more to grow. You're
I'm
still,
almost there.
I'm almost there. Yeah, totally. Meanwhile, your house is like you can't get in the front door because there's awards. Too many awards going up the stairs, right? And so I
And
doubt that's unusual too, Susan. I mean, I think us saying this, there's probably many people that will see this video one day and say, "Oh my God, I'm just like that. I'm just like Susan." Because I am too. I am too, right?
right.
I do the same
Absolutely.
stuff.
You're absolutely that. Well, you know what, Dak, and two, I was a little nervous to do this video. However, we had talked about this a little bit, and I was like, you know what, there is something there. And that's why I'm, wanted to get on with you because,
Yeah.
at this age and even 6 years later after winning these, like, why am I so willing to discount them instead of experience it? Like you always say, that's something I've experienced. I experienced this rebar, you can't take that away. However, I probably discount these awards more than I would discount doing this.
Mm,
Isn't that interesting?
hmm.
Um,
You do, because you went and got the rebar and showed it to us first.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it just shows you can do more than you can do. But you know what? That's what you said. One thing you learned about yourself is doing, and that rebar is also do, right?
Mhm.
That rebar is like defying laws of gravity, right? So that's that outside stuff. The stuff that you don't want to look at is that inside. I'm deserving. I'm amazing.
Worthy, worthy.
I'm worthy. I'm a beautiful, incredible, magnificent being. right? That's the stuff. That's
You
your
do.
journey, right?
Well, I love that, Dak. I mean, I love like you. That's why I mean, I love how you, and that's why he's so great. And can I just do one little side note? When
Is it
you
another
guys, whenever
commercial?
Dak does the 90-day games, I'm telling you all, if you want to change your life, raise your hand and jump in. Okay, go on.
Yeah, unless you don't want to, and then don't jump in because
Mhm.
it'll bite you and spit you out. Um, the no, it's totally fun and loving, really. The oh my God, you don't even know, Susan. There's so many new things. Do you know that the first class is now online and it's a 30-day process? It's not a 3-day class anymore.
No.
It's
Wow.
amazing. It's
Wow.
already, we're in 5 days in, and it's already as though they've come out of the 3-day class. And we're 5 days into the class is 30 days on video with,
Oh,
with a
that's
once a meet
fabulous.
with a once a week meeting live in person. Well, live on Zoom. And then the second class is now 4 days long, and it's live on Zoom. And it's an immersion class. You have to leave your home and go just be with us in those 4 days around the clock. It's so powerful. Um, and then the third class is going to be in Hawaii when we return to in person. However, the 90-day game is now different, and it's 3 monthly classes. It's a weekend class once a month for 3 months that are only 2 days long. And
Wow. Oh,
and
oh
there's
my
a new
goodness.
teacher, perhaps, who's on the line for a call tonight to determine if it's going to happen or not. However, that 90-day game is a brand new game, and it may be being taught by Ha'aheo.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I
Wow.
know, I know. So,
Wow.
but in my case, like I teach this work and I do it at the same time. So I can't just come up with one way and then stop. The work has to keep growing itself.
Mhm.
So we can just keep digging deeper and going deeper because we're really onions that just keep peeling back. So that's a perfect analogy for you because it's not that you're wrong for not seeing who you truly are. It's that we're onions. So you're peeling back those outer layers of self doubt or things you were taught when you were young, or residue from experiences of your early life and situations that didn't work, or things
Mhm.
people said, or things you felt or thought, thought, you know.
Right.
So as you peel back all the layers of all of your many years of I ams and who I am and what my story is and what I'm capable and of all of that, don't you find like you're getting deeper and closer to a more inner place where you are going to be able to sit gently with I am worthy and I am valuable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm probably more there than not there. And, I would like to just like I love you, like you say, like you walk in a room and you're like, hi, let's have a party. I'm here. It's my birthday,
Yeah, it
like
is.
and just even, you have that authentic, just I love that myself and that inner child and this and that. And I mean, you always resonate that playfulness. So along with the serious side and also then getting into calling us, whatever needs to be called out or changed or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so I think I live there more now than I ever have, which I'm grateful to be able to say.
Mm.
However, I would like it to be more permanent and, you know, but I'm getting there. And that's why I continue to do this. And
Yeah. Well, and I think that's also with that said, you don't want to get there and arrive though, right?
well, right.
You
Correct.
really don't. If you think about it, many people would think they do, but I don't think they really mean that. Because as you get closer to it, you see, like, wait, this isn't a destination. It's not
Right.
an end game. This is life. Because, I mean, I don't even know that after we die, if we get to find out what this is, what this all is,
Yeah.
right? Or what this is all either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that there's going to be a knowing moment. However, in this right here, part of what causes us to question our value and our worth, if we're questioning our value and our worth, then we do not have a connection to the creative force that created us in the first place, right? That divine, whatever
Mhm.
that thing is, because we are here on a spinning ball in a place that doesn't make sense and is terrifying. And if you cut
Yeah.
us, we heal and we feel and we sing and we create and we attack and we kill. Like we're magnificent. There's stars and waterfalls and huge
Tornadoes and
tornadoes and births. We rebirth ourselves. Like this place, wasn't bought on Amazon. There's not a logical explanation of what this is or where this came from. So that this whole thing of life is a spiritual journey of discovering who am I, what is this, and
hmm
how am I a part of this? That's that spiritual understanding that you get to participate in if you're engaged in your life and paying attention to all these things.
hmm
Often our humans will say, we ignore the stars and the waterfalls and the cut hand and the anger and the love and the feeling and the meditation and the woo woo and
yeah.
the paper clips that your
Yeah.
father who's passed away gives her paper clips whenever she
Oh
looks.
my gosh.
She
Hundreds,
asked she
hundreds.
asked him before he passed, what will your sign be that you're here and thinking about me? And he said paper clips. And how many you got, Susan,
Oh
that you
my gosh. I mean, I could get them, but I have a whole jar full. And the
thousands?
cool thing is, yeah, my whole family gets them and we all share that. And I just, it's my wink from above. I just, I don't care if they're in a mud puddle. I'm still going to pick it up and be grateful. And I say thank you. And
Well,
we
let's
don't
look
get,
right there. Let's look right there really fast. When you see the paperclip and pick it up, is there any doubt in your mind that that's your dad?
no, I just go with it that I know, I just say thank you. I'm grateful for it. I've been challenged on that before. And I'm like, you know what? I'm choosing to believe. I'm choosing to believe.
Well,
And
okay, so I get you choose to believe, but even when you choose to believe, is there ever a voice that's like, is it really him? Or because I'm sure there's got to be a tiny bit like, okay, because I got no evidence for sure, except for it is kind of weird that I asked him and he said paperclip and here's a paperclip again, right?
and they're all random.
And they're all random. However, so there's got to be a little voice that's like, maybe it's not, maybe it is, but I'm choosing to go. I can hear that voice. But
Correct.
is it a bigger than 50% in your brain where you go, I'm positive it is? Are you more than 50% positive it is?
I would say yes.
Are you more than 75% positive?
I would say I am 90%.
90. Sweet. Excellent.
Yeah,
So look at that. Because people can tell you're wrong, but if you can't prove it's true, nobody else can prove it's not true.
right.
Right? Nobody's got a hotline to God anymore. The Pope doesn't even have a hotline to God, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows that better than the Pope, too? However, um, nobody can prove it's not, just as you can't prove it is. However, if you're in a questioning place of needing to prove it, then you're not really having a relationship with it in the first place, right? So
Right.
for myself, I would say I'm 110% convinced that that's your dad. There's no question. Just
Okay.
watching the tea leaves of life and looking how this works.
Mhm.
When the bell dings in my phone or the computer, we call it a God bell and pay attention because that means
Right.
something
I love
that was
that.
just said
Yeah.
is true. Oh yeah, you watched this channel. I forgot.
Yeah.
Um, there's no question in my mind that that's what this is. I don't know that I believe it's a guy who's thinking and watching Dak and Susan talk and thinking, God, I wish Dak would just sit up straight, or I wish he would wake up and take up jujitsu.
I want
Um,
to hear the God bell.
I'm sure it'll be here soon. Um, however, that's the journey right there, right? That's the spiritual journey. And that journey right there, if the journey is to what is it and how am I it? How is it me too? Right? I don't read the Bible, but the one thing I hear from the Bible that hits me more than anything else when people talk about it is that man is created in God's image,
Hmm
right? So because I think that I am a manifestation of that divine, as
I
is the dog in the tree and every single, I think it's all God,
I do
right?
too. Yeah.
And it's all magic because it is all connected. And yet the journey is, how am I this? How is that me? So when you question your worth and when you question your value, it's a question of your divine. You see that? That's that
And
space.
I believe in the divine 100%. I believe in
Right. Just not yours. Right. That's the
Uh,
it's the space
I
between.
discount that.
Well, that's and we all have to because like, most people would say, "What are you saying? You're God?" Like, well, kind of, and you too, but not in the way that you define God, right? I think it's all God. However, if, the bumper sticker says God didn't make no junk.
Hmm.
And then the same person who wrote that probably looked out and was like, except for them, right? They're not good enough, or they're too little, or that judgment comes, right? All that stuff, anything that separates us from that full knowing, I think is what this life is for and it's about. Because that struggle, the resistance is what makes us strong, right?
Right,
And
right.
so you have tested strength and commitment, right? You've questioned your worth and your value. You've ramped up, done many things to improve and grow and strengthen your commitment and grow your strength. And you've discovered your worth more and more in many bigger ways, not necessarily from doing, but from being, interacting with other people, caring for others, leading others, being a
Hmm.
mother, playing the game with your ex husband, which most people don't even want to go to brunch with their ex husband, let alone play a 90-day game, right? Intimate support built game. So imagine when you can apply all of your strength and commitment to that 100% confidence, knowing that the value and worth of the divine is also yours.
I love that. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Then
Well,
probably
it's right. No, that says, I mean, and that is it. That's it. And it's kind of like, who am I to not own that?
right.
And I think I think that's my ego, subconscious programs, whatever, you
Yeah.
know, going, oh no, you got to play it small. A lot of people, some people will have egos that they're very egotistical. And I mean, I know I have that. However, I think mine sometimes really is the opposite of like, oh no, you got to stay small. Like, how don't you dare own that or that, you know what? So I
Yeah.
think that's my struggle a lot is just not owning any of that. However, I do want to say that, when I got the toothpicks, that was all divinely guided. And I have no doubts because I didn't even know about that. My dad, it was like his last day before he slipped into a coma. And I was walking into the hospital to see him, and my friend MJ had said, ask your dad what his sign is going to be. And I had never even heard of that before. So, like I said, my dad, and I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, my dad sends me toothpicks all the time. So I mean, I was like, hey, Dad, wait, one more thing. And I said, what's your sign going to be? And I have no idea because he was hardly talking why he said paper clips, except he used to like to fidget with stuff. However, I was just like, okay, it's paper clips. I mean, the day of his funeral, my sister, that night pulled down her bed sheets and there was a paper clip. I woke up the next morning, got in my car, and there was a paper clip. I called my family. I'm like, okay, wait, did you guys put a paper clip in my seat? And they're
Sure.
like, no.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it like immediately we got this sign, and just even that I was divinely guided to ask that right in the right time. I caught him right before, and after that, he pretty much didn't talk. So I do believe it was, divinely guided.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So,
The okay, so well, that's why I asked you to be and asked and wanted so badly for you to be on our YouTube channel, because I do think that um a lot of people have the same thought process, get
mhm.
caught in the same patterns and don't have even as much evidence as you do, and it's still challenging for you, right?
Right.
So I think that I'll say this about you and YouTube, that the your voice and you sharing your real story is so worth it, because I think people will hear it from you and it's authentic from you. You're not faking. You're not like, oh, I found my awesome worth and now I'm going to share with you how to do that. That's not
Everybody sit down and listen.
listen to me. Yeah, totally. The so it's a real honest authentic place you're coming from. You're really just being you, right? And being you without you noticing, you're like showing up like a superhero, making everything better, right? And from a very caring place and really trying to just figure it out yourself. I had a couple thoughts while you were just talking a minute ago, and I was thinking one way, the fastest way to learn something, do you know what that is?
Tell me,
Teach,
tell me.
teach it.
Oh,
Yeah.
correct.
It's the fastest way to learn it. And the fastest way to break your paradigm. If all your programs pile up and your paradigm's like the umbrella over the top of them, it's like your one story that tells kind of all of your beliefs in one
Mm-hmm.
line, right? The fastest way to break your paradigm, which just lets everything change and grow, the story falls apart when your paradigm comes apart because
Mm-hmm.
it's like the elevator pitch it gets broken, and then you have to put it together in a new way. So the fastest way to change a paradigm is to change your role.
Change my role.
Yeah. So
Change
the
my role with my paradigm.
Nope, just change your role, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I want to. I
so
want
here's an example. Here's an example. If you're 21 and you're out drinking and partying and sleeping around and playing with your friends and barely going to college, all of a sudden you get pregnant.
to. Mm-hmm.
In 9 months, you figured out how to pay your rent. You figured out how to stop drinking. You figured out how to stop running around with your friends and not be right. In
Mm-hmm.
1 second, you go from wild kid to responsible parent like that, right? How did you do that? If you wouldn't have gotten pregnant, you'd be like, I need to stop drinking, I need to stop partying, I need to start studying so hard, maybe next year, and off you go. But you changed your role. You went from, irresponsible kid to parent. See how the role changed? I went from kid to parent. My
Yeah,
new
it's not my
role.
story. However, yes,
Yeah,
it
it's just my
changed it.
example. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't saying it was. It's just to change your role. So right here with you on this journey to finding and accepting yourself, your true self, which keeps showing up outside so you can see it, and then you're like, yeah, but it can't be true. Right. The paperclip is true. The awards can't be true.
Well, right, yeah, right, yeah, yeah.
Right. Um,
Isn't that funny? Yeah, because with the it's weird because like with the paper clips, I just have a knowing. Like it's a God
yeah.
thing. I just have a knowingness.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Well,
I'll
it's
own that, but not
it,
these.
I know. It's the knowingness that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason that you can't know it is because it's in your paradigm that you don't, right? I'm always almost there. I almost get there. I almost get it. That's your
Mm.
paradigm. So one way to break that paradigm, change your role. And have you changed your role lately?
Well, I think I'm always changing my role.
You are always changing your role. But recently you did change your role. You know what you became?
I became oh, I think you're gonna say I became a YouTuber.
No, I was going to
Oh,
say you became a YouTube star. That's
oh,
what I was going to say. But
wow.
yeah, like so that journey is going to lead you to that too, as well by teaching and sharing outward with the world. Your role is bigger. Eventually you'll just fall into that and have that knowing, especially coming from that place. So,
Mm, that, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd say this. I'd say watch videos, learn editing, put in the extra hours at the front end for the technical part because when the 90 days is over, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be making YouTube videos until your funeral. I know your address. I know your friends. I know your ex husband, your children, your minister. I know your friends.
Okay, well, you're gonna be have to be my like host and guest speaker all the time.
Yeah. The only way that you can get out of it is that well, when you first came through my classes, you came to me and said, you need a TV show and I'm going to be a producer of your. No, you said you gave me all the ideas. And I said, wait a minute, Susan, I
I
think
wrote
you're
a
a
list of
producer.
100 things for you.
I know, I still have it. It was such a beautiful vision too. And I'm like, I want all that. However, you just wrote it for me. And then I'm like, I think you're going to be my producer. So the only way you can get out of this YouTube thing is if you are my producer.
I know. That's when you called me to do this. I'm like, wait, I don't want to do this. I just want to be the producer. And
I
you're
know.
like, no. And I'm like, Jack, I don't have a shtick. I don't sing or dance or whatever. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And um,
Well, that brings up the end of these calls. The one thing we do is karaoke. So, what song would you like? What do you want to sing?
from you,
No, from you.
oh, honey,
That's how we,
that's not happening.
that's how we end these calls.
Stay tuned for next time.
That's so funny. Um,
You'll
so
have
anyway,
to come back for that one.
yeah, I'm teasing you. The it's I well, I don't know what's going to come about from it. However, you know, if you if you spend any time from now until the end of your life questioning your value or your worth, which you probably are going to, it's written into your story somewhat. The beautiful part is you always come to the truth anyway. You always come out of it and go, oh man, I just keep finding all this damn evidence that I'm great.
Right.
Right. And then forgetting puts you back on the horse and gets you off engaged. So you're off at yoga and reading and classes and keeps you young because you're like you live your life like you're 25 years old,
Thank you.
right?
Well,
Keeps you
yeah,
young.
you know what? An important part of that too, Jack, and I do because I value it is it's who I surround myself with too. You know,
Mhm.
um, surrounded, 6 years later, I'm still like, I love that I can call Dak, text Dak, that the whole Hunter, everyone, on involved. I mean, I talked to Christy today. Christy and I, we're now going to be acknowledgement buddies. Um, and
What does that mean? You're
that
going to
means,
acknowledge each other?
well, no, we're going to acknowledge ourselves.
Oh,
So we each have to like acknowledge 5 things. We just decided this today when we talked.
sweet.
It wound its way into this, that we each have to look at ourselves and have 5 acknowledgments about ourselves. So then I said, well, Christy, do you want to be my acknowledgement buddy?
What a
And
good.
every night, um, I'll just text you my 5 acknowledgments of what I've done today, and
Yeah.
she's going to do 5 acknowledgments that she accomplished for the day and text them to me. So we're now um, acknowledgement buddies.
Again, another part of the Susan McGraw saga that just like my hippest, coolest rock star friend in LA is now obsessed with you and texting you every night. No,
I'm so
perfectly normal.
excited.
Perfectly normal.
Well, she likes that I'm like 30 years older than, she thinks I have more wisdom than her because I've lived longer. And I love her. I get so much from her and you two. You two are
She
so
does love you.
so
She
it
does
creates
love
a
you.
win-win for everybody.
I know, it's so good. It's
Hmm.
so good. All right, so your channel is Susan McGraw. Your
Yes.
your journey is to
Wait. I
inspire.
think I think then it's SMM. Oh, I don't know. Just go Susan McGraw because I think it's might be Susan McGraw 17 at Gmail or something.
Your email.
Oh, I
Is
thought
that
that. Well, I think my channel's okay. See, you guys, I need to learn more.
now you have
Okay,
your
just
now
go
they
to
know your
Susan.
email address.
Just go
Now
to
you're
Susan. Just go to Susan McGraw. My picture's on there.
Did you want to tell us your bank account number and your social security number?
No, I'm too wise for that.
Uh-huh. Wait a minute. Are you single right now? Should we put out a
Sure.
phone
Yes.
for? Oh
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that.
So you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
single.
I would like someone who is fun, authentic, emotionally available, and just and that we get to grow together and have fun together. And yeah, that would be great.
So hit me up.
So go. You could just go to my YouTube channel and say, "Hey, you."
Well, now they have your email address. They could also email you.
Well, yeah,
Wouldn't it be funny if you got a ton of email from guys being like,
yeah, but I don't know if that's the exact email. So just go to my YouTube
yeah,
site.
go to my yeah. And if you can't find Susan on YouTube, go to mine
Go to
because I'm
Dad.
subscribed, and down at the bottom of my channel are all the subscriptions. You can find Susan through there. Um,
I love it. Thank you. You're so funny. See,
well,
I love this. I mean, this is okay. If I could do this like all the time, I would do this. I'd be a
dude,
YouTube person.
all you need is a Zoom account.
To
Um,
use you.
turns out this is what I've done. I've changed my clothes 3 times today because I don't want every video on YouTube to like have me like, what do you make them all in the same day, or he has one outfit? I'm like,
Oh, that's so funny.
I
Yeah.
have a giant pile of clothes over here now because I've done so many videos today and I just keep changing my clothes. The tops, not the bottoms.
Well, now you get to write all those out off because it's part of your business.
I know. I know. Um,
Well, I love you. Thank you.
I
Thank you
love
for
you.
always sharing your authentic self, and just being such a great example. I'm so excited, Dak. That was one of my things when I
You are.
wrote about you. I was like, you need to be on YouTube. You people need to see you, because you have a way of just helping people see who they are, and to be authentic, and see the big picture of who they are. You really are a blessing and have a gift. So I'm grateful that you're out there, and that you're going to change people's lives bigger than even what you did before.
Awesome. See,
That's
that's my
using the
producer.
producer.
That's my producer right there. She thinks I'm the best one on YouTube.
I think I'll be your producer and your promoter.
Okay. And a YouTube star.
Okay, sure.
And I swear to God, I'm gonna get you a chain so you can wear those awards around your neck because I just think it's so good. Did I tell you this before? I actually think that should be the message in your video of your channel, right? Like, hey, I'm just like you, and I got all these. Like, it's like I'm a billionaire, but I'm broke. You know, like like that could be the message, but your promo video, your promo picture and your banner should be you with the awards like a necklace. It's just so funny.
Hmm.
Oh, and it's so, but you know what? The thing is, the real reason, the real hope is that you do get a chance, you do this, not just this, because you do it just being in yourself, to inspire people who don't have the courage and the strength that you had to take yourself on and do the work. For somebody to be able to hear that who would not have any other opportunity to hear that.
Okay,
And
now I could do that all day long. If
that's what,
I know that I'm helping some, yeah, I like that. I mean, if I could help someone have that,
yeah,
because I do want to see that in, I do want other people who are, um,
yeah,
don't have that maybe in them. At least I jump in and them pants on fire.
yeah.
Um, but like you said, maybe if maybe one thing I say, it is going to give someone that little push to go, you know what? Look at her. If she can do it, I can do it.
That's right. And how many people are out there? I just was talking to Sonia Shin earlier, and we were talking about the trauma of the world right now. And every single thing is traumatic. We all are exhausted. We're all basically have mental disorders from dealing with the last year and a half of our world. This is on a global scale.
Yeah.
So, people are struggling and scared and lonely and sad and traumatized. And
Mm-hmm.
to so your message, Sonia can speak directly to them in a health management, managing your stress and things to do in that way. What you've got is that voice to say to the people, like, look, I know it sucks. You're the mom who can like be like, I'll kiss the boo boo. Now you got to get back out there. We can do
Yeah. Now,
this.
like,
You've
go.
got this. Yeah, I'm working and I'm surviving, and you can too. you know
Right.
so your message is so good, and especially to be, and I don't want to keep saying your age because you're only like 10 years older than me, but to be, you're over 60, so to be at that age group where most people are thinking things like, oh, it's over, it's too late, and here's you like, I'm going to study Latin.
So, no, you know what I just started doing because I read a book. I ran upon this guy on YouTube the other day about like sharpening your memory and stuff. So you know what I'm doing and he said and his name's Jim Kiwi or something. I don't know. He's really good. He's an expert in this. And I
Oh,
sent it
oh,
on.
oh, 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 Jim Quick.
Yes, yes, yeah. I
Yeah,
just ran into him by mistake. So
me too.
now one of the things he said to do. So you know what I'm doing every morning? I'm left-handed. I now brush my teeth with my right hand.
Oh,
Just one little thing like that. He said, like, and then I'm going to start juggling because he said juggling, becoming a juggler helps you with your memory and stuff. So that I'm going to do that
now
too.
you're going to join the circus.
Yeah, right. I'll call Sonia Day. She can show me how to do.
You can be in Sonia Day's circus.
Yes,
So
yes. Yeah.
perfect.
But
Oh,
anyway, so yeah. So I love where you went with that, Dak. And
yeah. Well,
I
that's,
would love if I could inspire anyone or help anyone.
yep. And with that said, that's why you taking yourself at YouTube, you've got the voice to the world, and who cares if 300 people found you in 5 years, right?
Mhm.
If one was
Sure.
saved because they heard it from you, and there's anybody who has the courage to say it or to stand for somebody else in the world in that way, then there's somebody who can only hear it from you, you know?
Mhm.
So who knows how many there are, but somebody needs to hear the message and you're the only one they can hear it from. You know, they wouldn't listen to me or they would look at me and think, what do you have to do with me? Where if they look at you, they may be like, oh my God, you're so like me. Wait, I have the same feelings and thoughts and fears. You know, we all do. We all have
Yep.
the same experience. However, we also have that conscious, you know, perception of others, and we think others are different than us when we're all experiencing the exact same thing underneath. But that's why, you know, if you have the courage to speak, that tells me there is definitely an audience that needs to hear. Not that you can coax or trick into listening. There's an audience that is waiting for you. Because that's the statement that what you're searching for, you're searching with to find, right? So the one you're looking for is looking for you.
Right,
You know?
right, right.
It's like
Hmm.
it's not like, oh God, please let there be another, right? If you
Right.
want it, there is one. That's how you know it, right? So
Yes.
what it takes is the courage to speak it and look at you. If you're nothing, you're courageous.
Wow. No, I love it. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I love this journey, and I'm so grateful for you. And um,
Yeah, yeah, I'm so grateful for you too. You know what? I want to do it again soon too because I'd love to have this conversation with you and Susan Lofton.
oh yes, I
Yeah.
will enroll her into this.
Okay. I'd
Yes.
love to hear both of you talk. And I'll tell you fast before we close that one night I was at a restaurant in St. Louis with all of my people that worked with me. And we were at this big Mexican restaurant having dinner. And Susan and her other friend, Susan, were out at dinner. And we knew who they were. My people all know them, but I'm not from St. Louis, but all these guys knew them. And did you know who I was that night when we met?
Yeah, I had heard. Yes, I had heard about you. Yes,
Oh, you
but
had.
I didn't really. That was pretty much in the beginning of you coming to St. Louis. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I do remember. Like I've heard a lot of great things. I want to do whatever he's doing. Yes,
Oh, you had by that point.
a
Got it.
little bit. Yeah.
Got it. And I think maybe I recognized you guys and I had met you or talked to you or something because we both went to the same church,
Right.
the same, which wasn't really a church, it's like a spiritual center, blah, blah, blah. That's all these people went to that place and that's how I got taken there. And I think I
Yeah.
had in passing or met you or something because
Right. Yes.
I
Yeah.
recognized you, but I
Hmm.
didn't know anything about you guys. And you two came by our table because you knew everybody at the table and talked to everybody for a few minutes and said hi. And then you both left. And
Right.
just that few minute interaction with you and Susan, and ironically, you were both named Susan. So you're out to dinner. It's like the Susan Club.
Yeah.
But after you guys left, I watched you leave, and then I said to my people, I was like, go get them. Go get them and bring them to me, to my classes. I want them to come to the classes. I want to see them play the game. Come on. And
Yeah.
then you freaking did it. Both of
Oh,
you.
we did, and Susan and I played on the same team. And actually, this week Susan was going through kind of a difficult situation, and
Yeah.
Dak so many times um, we went back and I sent her a couple of the videos that you're doing with Christy. I'm like, here, Susan, this is a refresher course. Go watch this. And
Oh,
then we use the tools that we learned 6 years ago with you. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing I want to say is like now that we've experienced it and we have that, it's kind of like in our toolbox.
Yeah.
And we're both working on to have that be our beingness solidly. Like I think that's like how you wake up. You just have a beingness that like this is my beingness, and I'm not gonna disown it. That's how I look at you. Like you just own your beingness. But anyway, my point is that we both had kind of a difficult time, and we just kept going back to the references of what we've learned and what we know, what we've experienced, that is who we are. And she was Steel Magnolia. And I said to her, I'm like, at the end of that, you called her Steel Magnolia. I'm like, Susan, you got this. You're the Steel Magnolia, you know?
She is.
Yeah. So anyway, it's very valuable what we got, and to be able to live that and use those tools
Yeah.
and that beingness.
Yeah.
So
So cool. We're gonna
all
have a
right.
blast when we all move to France and live in my castle.
Hey, Did you get my picture? Oh, yes, I can't wait for that. Did you
Mhm.
get my picture of the Basset Hounds today with the bunny hats on?
Do you know what? I did. It's hysterical. The that picture, I think it was near the beginning of the pandemic. I saw that picture come through Facebook at the beginning of the pandemic,
Oh,
right?
you did with that Easter hat?
I did. And it sent me to Walmart to buy flowers and stuff and I think it was a year ago. It was during the pandemic because it was right at Easter time because
Yes.
I went to buy them Easter stuff to make these hats so they
Did
could have
you
Easter
really?
bonnets. And I couldn't find the stuff I needed at Walmart. And that's when I first discovered that I could buy, like size 8T and size 3T dresses at Walmart and cut them up and resew them. And then they could wear, so they each had Easter dresses,
Oh my
which has
God.
now turned into the entire pandemic. They have whole wardrobes as big as mine. Um, I
I
now
can't
make
wait to
them,
see I can't wait to see their Easter outfits.
well, oh, um, they have gowns and dresses and ribbons and bows and hair ties and hats now. They have fur coats. They just got their new spring season, their new spring collection is just coming out now. So they're mostly like tanks, like light t-shirts because it's spring. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So watch this. You apparently can't, you know how you can't monetize your YouTube channel till you get to 1,000 subscribers and
Right.
4,000
Mhm.
views, 4,000 hours of viewing. So you also can't monetize, but once you monetize, you can also merchandise. And
Yeah.
so I didn't know that you had to wait till you could monetize in order to put merchandise on your channel. So I put up like 2 videos and then I found the website that you can go make all the merchandise and sell on your channel. So like my first 2 videos were up and I already designed an entire line of yoga clothes and an entire line of dog clothes and coffee cups. I was ready
Wait,
to
wait. Are
put
the yoga clothes for dogs?
people.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you do? You have a yoga line? I'll have to check that out.
I have a yoga line. However, I keep changing the branding of my channel, so I have to keep going back and changing my lines of merchandise. Christy said to me, "I think I might be a little premature for merchandise. You you only have 30 subscribers," and I'm like, "I know, but they need yoga clothes.
They
They need
do. Yeah. I'm gonna
my
buy
people
some.
do yoga and they drink coffee and they have animals." Like she's like, maybe put your effort into videos and then work on merchandise later. So anyway,
So,
um,
do your dogs like to swim? I think you should put them in swimsuits and let them go swimming in
mm,
swimsuits.
that's a fun one. Sophie will. She's not a fan.
Mm.
Hollywood doesn't even want to be near me, near the tub. She won't even walk in the bathroom for fear she gets put in the tub. She hates water. I don't know what.
Oh, she does.
Uh-huh. I put her in the pool once and she was just like, oh. And Sophie like will paddle and she's a great swimmer. And then she's like, okay, can we be done now?
Yeah,
So
I'm done.
she's not a dog lover.
She
Whereas
still laps.
Shams, Hunter's dog, he'll sit in the tub. If you draw a bath and don't close the bathroom door, you'll come back and he'll be in the tub.
Really, really.
Uh-huh, because he
Huh.
loves the water so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mhm.
That's so cute.
Yeah. That's the picture you sent me.
Right.
That's my
Are
girl.
you going to try to do it? Are you going to try to do it this for Sunday or not?
Well, I still only have access to Walmart. I'm still in the quarantine.
Yeah.
One
Right.
day they're going to have them. Walmart didn't have anything I could make the hats out of. They had the flowers and stuff. And so I wound up going off to, I mean, I could have gotten a kid's hat. I don't know. You know what? Now that we're saying this, I'm probably going to Walmart tonight to buy
Yeah.
some flowers.
Yes, they have hats. Get a kid's hat.
That's so funny.
And then you cut out the place for their ears and then
Bunny.
you can find those bunny headbands, okay? The
Yeah.
ears, and you'll just stick that through the hat.
Yeah. And
And
Easter's
their
like
ears.
this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being on here, Susan.
I
I
love
told
you.
you.
Thank
Look, I
you.
told you. I can't talk to anybody that's not an hour. I'm
Is
like,
that what have we been an hour?
I can't believe that I have people that watch these shows because every single thing on YouTube says make them 10 minutes or shorter, and my shows are like an hour and a half long.
Oh, okay.
No
Well,
script, no editing. No.
well, yeah, yeah. Remember we learned that you do like this when you're supposed to edit?
Oh, right, right, right.
Mhm.
No
That's
edit. I don't. There's nothing we needed to take out. You wouldn't. I couldn't get you to swear.
I will when I get off and watch this.
I
Jack, I love you. Thank you. I just,
love you.
I love you and thanks. It was a great hour. It was way fun.
I know it was. We'll do it again soon. Tell Susan Lofton we want to do it
Okay,
together.
I'm going to. I believe me. She's getting a call tonight.
Okay. All right.
Love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.